Welcome to This is MLS. I'm your host, Kaylin Kyle, and match day 9 is almost upon us. So let's bring in the guys. Mo Adu, thank you so much for joining us, and Dax McCarty. Before we go any further, yesterday I had a privilege. I got to spend the day in the city with the #1 soccer dad in North America. Let's take a look.
I don't mind the fit. I'm not going to lie. I don't mind the fit.
The fit.
How are you going to do me like that?
I don't mind the fit, Dax.
The black socks and the black shoes, though?
I don't mind it, man. I'm not going to lie. I had a little bit of FOMO watching you guys.
The ref shoes were a bridge too far. Not my favorite, but the whole outfit, I have to say, everyone loved it. I stepped outside my comfort zone a little bit, Mo, mainly because I had to. But the conversation wasn't about the fit. It was about how great of a referee I was. I was fantastic. Yeah? Absolutely no issues. Fans were loving it. I was the star of the show. It was like another Kalina out there. It was a redheaded Kalina.
It was a very cool event yesterday. We got to team up. Keith and Adidas did an amazing collaboration. It's dropping this Friday, so we got some key pieces that will be part of this capsule. So thank you to Keith. Thank you to Adidas as well for having us at the event. Mo, you didn't get the invite, so we're going to send you some clothes, hopefully.
Hey. Make sure that this clip right here is posted because I want receipts. I want receipts so that way I get my gear. All right?
Done and done. You got to pay for it, though. Heading into match day 9, what is your biggest headlines? Dax, Mo, let's start with you first.
Kay, you're going to love this headline because it's about your former club, Vancouver Whitecaps. They put on an absolute masterclass of a performance. And I'll be honest, I'll go a step further. That's the best performance I've seen this season, especially live, and especially that second half. It was men amongst boys. You know, me and Keith Costigan were talking about it after the game, and I think our biggest question mark after coming off the high and the emotions of going down to Mexico City, getting the result against Pumas was, would that be have a hangover effect for this Vancouver Whitecaps team, or would they maintain the momentum? And they delivered in an incredible way. Honestly, I was a little bit surprised when I saw the team of the match day because there was only 2 players in it, and I'm thinking, you could have probably fielded all 11. That's how good they were against Austin FC. So I'm not just giving Vancouver their flowers today. I'm giving them a whole damn garden. And long may this continue for the Whitecaps because I'm loving it. And by the way, they still haven't even gotten all their best players back healthy yet. So kudos to them. What a performance this weekend.
Are they the best team in the league for you, Mo?
They are. Yeah, they're the best team right now.
Over Miami?
Prove me wrong. They're the best team right now. We'll get a chance to see them and Miami play soon, right? In CCC. So maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment, but this moment has taken me hostage, and I'm loving it.
Usually I'd agree with you when it comes to talking about the Vancouver Whitecaps, just because I'm a prisoner of their history. And I have been waiting this year for them to let me down in some way. I've said every time they go into a big game, whether it's a big game down in Mexico or they have to rotate their squad and it's a big game in MLS play, I say, this is the week that Vancouver comes back to the Vancouver Whitecaps I know from seasons past, where they've either been decent and missed the playoffs or been good and crashed out early in the playoffs. I have to agree with you. And I don't want to, but I have to agree with you. The Vancouver Whitecaps are knocking the socks off of everyone in MLS, and it's been very, very impressive. They're not doing it with any one particular set style of play or one particular metric you can point to. Jesper Sorensen has this team firing on all cylinders in the attacking half, by the way, missing some of their best players in Ryan Gauld and Jayden Nelson, but also defensively. Yeah. They have the best goal differential in the league, plus 11. They have the best backline in the league at this point in time in terms of Tristan Blackman and Ranko Veselinovic really stepping up into that elite tier of center backs in this league that you need to have a foundation if you're going to be successful. I've been singing the praises of Andres Cubas, who's taken a step forward this year. Sebastian Berhalter taken a step forward this year. Brian White continues to do what he does. It's very difficult to pick holes in this team. But I will say that comes with a little bit of a caveat. This Austin team, you look like a college team going and playing the Vancouver Whitecaps. I don't understand what happened to you defensively.
Could Des Moines beat them? Could Des Moines
hey, take it easy. We're not going to be
gonna
disrespectful, all right?
I'm not going to take it that far, Kay, because our main striker, Bradley Wright Phillips, can't get through 10 minutes, okay? So that's a problem. But listen, Austin, I hope this is just a blip on the radar for them because I'm not selling stock. I'm holding Austin. Even though they had a poor performance against Vancouver, I still think that their back line can be very good defensively with Brad Stuver in goal. And I'm just waiting for their attack to get going. They can't be any worse than they've been right now. So I'm not going to sell all my Austin stock just yet. But Vancouver, bravo. You've been the best team in the league this year. You deserve your flowers, like Mo said.
Wait, just one quick one. Jesper Sorensen, Coach of the Year for you right now so far?
Coach of the Year for me right now is still Wilfred Nancy. I'm sorry. I can't take it away from Wilfred Nancy. But Jesper Sorensen, it's more like a 1A and a 1B. Okay, that's where that's how I'll straddle the fence on that one, Mo.
You're playing it safe. So there has been some reports that the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, that FIFA will look to have a play-in match between LAFC and Club America. It would be played for a spot in the FIFA Club World Cup if Lyon lose their appeal in the court of sport. Mo, for you, is this a huge opportunity considering LAFC was just knocked out of the CONCACAF Champions Cup?
Without a doubt. And this opportunity is one for LAFC that they need to prioritize, right? LAFC, since they came into this league, has been built on the ethos and understanding that they want to be the Premier League, the premier team in this league. They want to compete in every competition and not just compete, like genuinely be competing for trophies. And so to your point there of missing out on CONCACAF Champions League, going out to Miami just recently, what a turn of events for them. Now they have the opportunity to win a one-off game against one of the top teams in this region in Club America to put themselves in the FIFA Club World Cup. Yeah, to me, this has to be something that they prioritize, that they put all their emphasis and all their eggs into this basket, because this is a great opportunity for this club to now be on the biggest stage, be on the same stage and have the opportunity to compete against the Chelseas, the Real Madrids, the Man Cities of the world, and showcase what their football is like at that level.
Mo, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second because I completely agree with you in terms of this is a great opportunity for LAFC. You have to take the opportunity if you can get it. It's a once in a lifetime chance to play in the Club World Cup here, an expanded Club World Cup, where not only is the monetary reward fantastic, but it's a chance to get your club in front of the eyeballs of essentially the whole world and play against the best competition. So you're not wrong about that. I just look at this LAFC team and I just look at them and have more questions right now than answers. And I just wonder if this is coming at a difficult time for them. They've been the most inconsistent team in Major League Soccer up to this point. They have 4 wins, 4 losses. They crashed out of the CONCACAF Champions Cup to Inter Miami in a performance that I've found myself very disappointed in because I thought they should have won that game. If they go and get the second goal down in Miami, then we're not talking about this right now because I think that they are still in CONCACAF Champions Cup. But again, I look at Steve Cherundolo and I just wonder, what is the conversation surrounding Steve Cherundolo right now? Because his success with LAFC has been prominent. You can't take anything away from what he has accomplished since 2022. He's won 3 major trophies in 3 years, but he's been to 5 finals and he's only won 2 of those finals. And the way that they went out against LAFC or against Inter Miami was very disappointing. So now I look at this game against Club America and I look at it as another final. If Steve Cherundolo and LAFC win it, great. That could get their season back on track. But if they lose, the questions are just going to get stronger about the pressure on this team and on Steve Cherundolo. And so, listen, I think it's a no-brainer. You have to play in this competition. You have to try to win the game, and then you have to go as far as you can in the Club World Cup if you make it that far. I just wonder if LAFC, if all these different competitions that they're in and trying to balance their schedule a little bit is just starting to catch up to them a little bit, because I see some cracks starting to appear in this team.
But Dax, to your point, that's the pressure you want, right? For Steve Cherundolo, for these players, for this organization, that's the pressure that you welcome, that you embrace. Yeah, you're not going to win every final, and that's the challenge for any manager, for any group of players, for any elite team, is how do you consistently put yourself in a position to be having these conversations, right? If they were failing in a major way, we wouldn't be having this conversation about them. They wouldn't even be in a position to be playing Club America for a one-off opportunity. So I agree that there are, I think.
Does this team leave you wanting more, Mo? This team leaves me wanting more. I just have a feeling that they aren't scratching the surface of their potential.
That's fair. That's fair. And I think they'd be the first ones to admit that. I don't think anyone thought that Denny Bouanga would be getting his first goal on match day 8. I don't think that they envisioned after winning at home in CCC that they wouldn't get the job done on the road at Miami. But again, I still like the opportunity because I think it helps to, if they can win this one-off game, it helps to kind of erase some of those questions that you put out there, some of that doubt of
100%.
can they win in big games.
Max, what needs to change for you to see this team give you more? Is it playing style? Is it the players on the pitch? Is it coaching tactics?
I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, I'd like to see more from Olivier Giroud, and he had a positive performance in this last game that they played, the 2-1 win at home against the San Jose Earthquakes. But I would also like to see Steve Cherundolo give this team a little bit more attacking punch and attacking firepower. I'd like to see him start with a more attack-minded lineup at times. David Martinez, I have no idea why he didn't play against Inter Miami in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. He was on the bench, and then he wasn't on the bench for the San Jose Earthquakes game, so I just wonder if he's nursing a little bit of an injury. But he's a player for me who has to be in the lineup. I just would like to see them switch their midfield up a little bit, Kay. The approach that Steve Cherundolo has had so far this year in midfield has been just a little bit too conservative for my liking. I'd like to see him try to get Under and Bouanga and Martinez all on the field at the same time with a striker. How you do that, that's his job. That's for him to decide. I just think this team has so much more potential than what we are seeing. And Mo is right. A game against Club America and a one-off game, which you can be considered a final, if you win it, the narrative is everything's great. We're going to go on to compete in this great competition, and it can springboard us into a better position in the league. But if you lose the game, then more questions start to be asked, and then you have a lot of pressure in the league to get it right. So a very interesting couple weeks coming up here for Steve Cherundolo and LAFC.
Two teams that are strangers to losing, Inter Miami and Columbus, two teams that remain unbeaten in the 2025 season here in Major League Soccer, and they continue to roll on, but they match up this coming Saturday at Huntington Bank Field. Our coverage, we got pregame coverage kicking off at 4 p.m. Eastern, a 30-minute pregame show, and then followed by the match. This one's very interesting, gentlemen, because you have two teams that heading into this season, I guess for the Columbus Crew, we didn't really have expectations because they didn't have Cucho Hernandez. We were thinking we're going to give them a little bit of leeway, but they have proven all of us that they are a team under Wilfred Nancy that are not going to go off the page. Meanwhile, for Inter Miami with Javier Mascherano, the question marks, could he live up to the success that we saw Tata Martino bring them last season? They looked even better. How do we see this one going?
You know what? I like this. I mean, obviously, I love this matchup just like everyone else does. But couple things. I'm intrigued to see how early Wilfred Nancy is prepared to give Daniel Gazdag a start. Obviously, he made a cameo, made his debut for the club, came on at halftime, and you can see that he's finding his feet relatively quickly. There's still going to be some tactical things that he has to get adjusted to. Daniel Gazdag I'm talking about, because the way that Columbus plays is very different to how Inter Miami play. But Kay, you've heard me say it plenty of times. And I'm glad that Dax challenged me earlier when I asked him about Coach of the Year, because in Wilfred Nancy, I trust. Okay? In Wilfred Nancy, I trust. And, you know, since Columbus went out there and made that signing in 2023, he to me has been kind of the defining part of this club. Now, obviously, they have some elite players. They have a brand of football that they play that is appeasing to the eye, and it's incredibly successful. But the key piece to me in this matchup is going to be some of the tactical changes, in-game changes, personnel changes that either of these managers make. And right now, Wilfred Nancy has shown me already in this league what he can do. He's shown me in this league what he can do with a couple different teams as well, how he can bring out the best in different players, how he can take players from MLS Next Pro, bring them up and have them feel like they're now suddenly top-tier players. So I've seen that from him. With Javier Mascherano, I haven't seen as large a body of work. That's not to say that he doesn't have that quality. I've only seen him in these games that he's managed Inter Miami so far this season, and so far, job well done. They're undefeated. But to me, the defining piece of this game, I know Messi's on the pitch. I know there's elite talent on the pitch. I'm actually looking to the sidelines to see how these managers, I guess, dictate and make changes to navigate this game.
Mo, this is going to be in terms of a preview that we can actually say, this is going to be the matchup in MLS history with the most quality, top to bottom, that we have ever seen. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to go on record and say that, because both of these teams at this current moment are the best teams in MLS that aren't the Vancouver Whitecaps. They have the most quality from top to bottom. I was going through a checklist in terms of what I wanted to see if I was going to preview a game and what the matchup needed to have in order to make it the best matchup that we have ever seen in MLS history in the regular season. Star power, check. Great young players, check. Elite managers, check. Aesthetically pleasing brands of soccer from both sides that want to play out of the back. They want to play through lines, check. And oh, by the way, teams that expect to win every single time they step out on the field, check. This matchup is mouthwatering. I mean, I can't really describe it any other way. And you mentioned Daniel Gazdag. He's the X factor for this game. Mo, he got 45 minutes against St. Louis City 2-3 days after he got traded there. The reason for that is because Wilfried Nancy wants to start him in this game. I have no inside info. I just think that you
Breaking news.
I just think that you have to go with your biggest guns and your biggest weapons. Miami is still going to be balancing CONCACAF Champions Cup, but their CONCACAF Champions Cup matchup against Vancouver isn't until the next Thursday. Plenty of time to rest and recover. Both of these teams haven't started what I would consider their strongest 11 yet this year because of injury and because of rotation. This game, you are going to see both coaches put their best 11 on the field. Their best 11 that is fully fit and ready to go on the field. I cannot wait for this game. It's in a football stadium for a reason. It should be sold out, electric atmosphere, two great teams. This is going to be a marker put down from one of these teams as the team to beat in the Eastern Conference.
This will be the second time in MLS history that two unbeaten teams meet after 8 matches. For bonus points, who were the two teams back in 2010?
Oh, 2010. Wow.
2010.
Who was good back then? I'm trying to think of who won the league that year.
One was on the West Coast. They're doing very poor this year.
Galaxy.
LA Galaxy.
And in Wilfried Nancy, we trust.
Montreal.
Columbus. We got to stick in Columbus.
I was going to say, Wilfried Nancy wasn't even.
I know he wasn't
Where was Wilfried Nancy back in 2010?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wait, what are we talking about right now? That's what I was like.
I was just trying to give you a hint with what team. Guys, don't ruin my game, all right?
Yeah, but I was like.
Stop talking. We're moving on now. Let's take a look at the leading goal scorers since 2024. This is from June 1st of 2024. And after Brian White getting 4 goals, he takes the lead with 16. Cucho with 15. Ty Bribo, 15. Benteke and Alonso Martinez all on 15 as well. Incredible to say the very least. So I want to have a little game with you guys. I want to have a little fun with you. If you're a GM and you're heading into an MLS season in 2026, you have your franchise and you have a blank canvas. You can only pick one striker to create and build around. Which striker in Major League Soccer would it be as of right now?
You want to go first, Dax?
I'll go first, Mo, because I think that I have the absolute best answer for this possible. And when I was thinking about this and going through my short list, it was Christian Benteke. Yeah, that's an obvious answer. That's a great one. But you know what? If I'm starting a franchise, he's just a little bit too old for me. Okay. The same was kind of where I was at with Brian White, even though he's having such a great season. And if there is a Brian White fan club, I am the number one member, okay?
Well, you're not, because he's not your franchise player.
But he's not going to be my franchise pick, and the reason is because Dejan Joveljic is the answer to this question. He can do it in a great team, as we saw with the LA Galaxy. He was the final piece to that puzzle. Once Chicharito left the LA Galaxy, they actually got better. And it's because Joveljic stepped in, and he was the missing piece to be added to this Ricky Puig, Gabriel Peck, Joseph Paintsel dynamic attack, the one that could get on the end of all these crosses and passes. But I had questions about Joveljic because I thought to myself, he needs service. He's going to need great players around him in order to score goals. He has gone to Sporting Kansas City, a Sporting Kansas City team that is one of the worst teams in the league at this point in time with minimal talent around him. And he's still scoring goals at a very good rate. His 5 goals in 8 games. And it's not just the goals that he is scoring. It's his mentality. Every time I watch him play, I feel like this guy has an elite desire, an elite mentality to win. And I see his frustration when they don't win and with the season that they are having. But even more so than that, Mo, it's his ability to start to create chances on his own that I have seen real growth from him this year. There was a moment when they were losing to the Portland Timbers this past week in the 79th minute where he got the ball and he went at Kamal Miller 1v1, and he had this elite little footwork where he kind of took 2 quick touches and put the ball around Kamal Miller, and Kamal Miller was in a vortex. He didn't know where the ball was. And look, Joveljic didn't finish the chances. Pantemis made a great save. But Lloyd Sam on the commentary said, Joveljic, I wasn't familiar with your footwork. Wow. And I'm going to steal his line because I wasn't either. That convinced me that he is growing as a player. He's only 25 years old, a perfect age to build your franchise around. I think it's a no-brainer that Joveljic is the correct decision.
You've been hanging out with Sasha way too much. Mo, come on.
I actually don't hate that shout, and
well, you shouldn't hate that shout because it's a great shout.
You did a good job, Dax. You know what? I'll give you kudos. You did a good job. You didn't convince me, but you did a good job. And I like Dejan Joveljic. I was actually keeping my choices to the short list that Kaylin had there, and I might surprise you with my answer here. I'm going with Alonso Martinez. And that
doesn't surprise me at all. It's a great answer.
That list?
Yes.
Guys,
yes.
Why not Brian White? I'm so confused by this. He's going to Mexico and getting the job.
Let me tell you why.
Please, can I know I'm not supposed to be in on this. I'm going in on this. Sorry, producer, you're going to have to add some more time. Go, Mo.
Well, first of all, Kate, you said they go down to Mexico City. It wasn't just Brian White, and this is no shade to Brian White. Love what he does for his team.
This is my guy. You do you. I'm doing me after. Do you.
Thank you. All right, Alonso Martinez, 26 years old, at a great age, Costa Rican international, and again, this goes back to the eye test when I did their game live, and you see so much of what he does off the ball. The amount of running that he does into space to expose back lines. The guy has pace, first of all. I was looking at the metrics and the numbers, 3rd in the league in terms of his speed, right? So that's a different threat that he gives you compared to the rest of the players on that list. But then he's just sneaky good. You talked about Joveljic's feet. Alonso Martinez, of that list, he's probably the one player between Benteke, Brian White, Baribo, who are still in the league, no Cucho, who can create a chance on their own and can consistently create a chance on their own. Part of that comes from the fact that he used to play on the wing, so he's comfortable receiving the ball, taking on defenders. But the way that this guy is a constant nuisance to back lines, to defenders, you got to constantly check your shoulders, and he's putting up numbers. He's putting up numbers in an NYCFC team who, respectfully to Maxi Morales, they still need some more creative pieces there to really start creating chances on a regular basis for him. And yet, the guy is still banging in goals. So I'm a Alonso Martinez fan. I've actually been waiting for some weeks now to be able to give this guy some love. I'm glad this question came at this time because he deserves some credit. He's, I would say, an unsung hero in this league and a gem that NYCFC should probably hold on to because there should be some other teams looking to poach him because of his consistency and his quality that he brings.
Mo, before Kaylin jumps on her Vancouver
No. Just wait. Dax, you just go. I just need 2 more stats. So you just riff for a second here because I wasn't prepped for this, but now I'm prepped.
Kay, you're supposed to prepare before the show. But
well, I'm preparing to throw myself into the show.
Mo, what I will say about Alonso Martinez is that I love that answer as well. Alonso Martinez is absolutely a top 3 striker in this discussion for me to build a team around because he is at a great age. And every time I watch him play in the studio, Bradley Wright Phillips and I both look at each other when he makes another run in behind the back line and it's the 90th minute. And I'm thinking, where is this guy getting all this energy? It's infectious. It's incredible. And I don't disagree with you. He is, if I'm a center back or if I'm a coach on an opposing team scouting this guy, I'm having nightmares because he is not going to let you rest until the final whistle blows. I do really love that about him. He is a great finisher. But Joveljic is still the correct answer. And Kay, listen.
Wrap it up.
I said Brian White. I am the number 1 leader of the Brian White fan club. All I will say is that
guys. Stats don't lie.
This is you have to take when you put on your GM hat. You have to take the totality of everything that comes into question. Dejan Joveljic, Brian White, I think both great strikers in their own right, very much at the same level. And then I just take the guy that's 3 years younger. Mo takes Alonso Martinez, who's a little bit younger. It's really not that hard to wrap your head around. You just get more prime years out of these strikers.
Age
Amen.
is just a number because nowadays people are aging like a fine wine, me including in that conversation. Now, Brian White, okay? The last 3 seasons, 2023, 20 goals in all competitions, 2024, 16 in just league play. Now 25, 9 goals already in all competitions. You guys both touched on, I have it written down here because I was taking my notes. You talk about growing, okay? Growing as a player. We've seen him grow as a player. Growing in a team that's good, bad, and ugly. We've seen him do that in Vancouver Whitecaps. And I said this, he put his team on his back. He flew that airplane down to Monterrey. He flew it down to Mexico City, and they got the result there without some of the best players in the team, like his wingman in Ryan Gauld. What he is doing with the Vancouver Whitecaps in multiple competitions, because a lot of teams, we're playing in multiple competition, we don't have a deep squad. Vancouver's put that case to bed. There's no more excuses of we're balancing multiple competitions like LAFC has been said to do, balancing their competition. I think that was you, Mo, in segment 1. So I'm just that was in my notes here as well. Brian White is your franchise player. We had him on MLS Countdown, and he was like the nicest human being. Now he's scoring goals. He's doing the gritty. I'm like, yes, you're my guy.
Mo, she got you, bro.
I'm gonna be the expansion club of San Diego in 2026 of what we're seeing in 2025. I'm taking it. You know what?
Dax, you know what just happened there?
I'm gonna win the West.
What?
You know what just happened there? Kay had been dying inside to say something about Vancouver, and so Brian White gave her the opportunity. That's all that was.
Okay, you know what? Brian White would have been my choice if he would have taken the penalty kick against Austin to get 5 goals.
That's just a good teammate.
I know he's a great teammate, but I want to see a killer.
Player, baby.
I want to see a killer. Go get your 5th goal. Tie Clint Mathis for the record all time in MLS history, Brian.
Tim's yelling at me right now, our producer, saying, you weren't meant to be in the show. Tim, I am now, baby, so get on board. All right, let's take a look at our Eastern Conference standings as of right now, heading into match day 9. Columbus, Charlotte, Cincy, and Miami holding those top 4 spots. The Rebels just on that border in 9th position. The bottom end of the table, though, Montreal still looking for their first win of the season. Toronto with back-to-back draws looking like there is a little bit of life. Jumping to the Western Conference, my boy Brian White doing Brian White things. Vancouver in top spot, baby. Minnesota, San Diego, Portland, San Jose, and Bruce Arena in that 9th position. And LA Galaxy at the bottom with your Joveljic. I think that's 14th. That says Daxie. That's your franchise player in Kansas City.
5 goals in 8 games. 5 goals in 8 games.
All right, let's play a little game because we are having a lot of fun on the show. By the way, can I just say the 3 of us, the 3 amigos, this is MLS. I'm feeling it. It's a new game I've created with Tim, my producer. Uh-oh. He's fantastic. Our producer, sorry. It's called Quick Hitter, and it's called True or False. So I'm going to give you a line. Basically, just tell me, is it true or is it false with my statement, okay?
Are we both answering all the questions?
Yeah. You both can answer them. Okay. And you can go back and forth. You can argue, you can disagree on the show. There's no rules, clearly. I'm just making stuff up as we go today. True or false? With Matt Miazga back, Cincinnati are the 2nd best team in the East. These are quick hitters, fellas.
True.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, so no arguing.
It's true because I'm going to give you my reason. Because Cincinnati, before Matt Miazga goes down with an injury last year, are one of the best, most elite defensive teams in the league to go along with that fantastic attack. We haven't seen Cincinnati at their best. And they're still in the top 2 in the East right now. I believe right under Columbus for the 2nd spot in the East. And they just got their anchor back, their captain, one of the best defenders in MLS. Absolutely. They are absolutely a top 2 team in the East.
I'm gonna go false. I love what Dax said.
Didn't you just say true?
No, I didn't say true. I was thinking about it.
Oh,
part of me agrees with what he's saying, but top 2 means that you're above Columbus and Miami, and not so sure about that.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
True or false? The Seattle Sounders will miss the playoffs for just the 2nd time since 2009.
False.
I'm going false.
Unequivocally false.
Going false.
Why?
Because I trust Brian Schmetzer. Jordan Morris is on his way back. I'm hoping and believing that Pedro de la Vega will be a game changer for them. And hopefully he can stay fit. That'll be a big change for them as well. But nah, I can't see them not making the playoffs this season.
Kaylin, you don't know this expression? I know you're Canadian, but here in the
here
U.S., we have an expression. It's death, taxes, and the Seattle Sounders making the playoffs when they're not winning the CONCACAF Champions Cup, okay?
I thought it was marriage. It's marriage, right? Death, taxes, marriage, or no? Did I make that up?
You
can
just
always
made
add
that
that
up.
third thing.
I'm just making stuff up. Okay.
The third thing is whatever you want it to be.
Oh,
And Brian, Seattle Sounders will make the playoffs. They've dealt with injuries all season. Brian Schmetzer finally, I think, has nailed down the formation that he wants them to play in for the rest of the season. And I still think we'll see more out of Jesus Ferreira. This team is absolutely going to make the playoffs. I have no doubts.
Okay, moving on. True or false? Ricky Puig is more vital to the Galaxy than any other player is to their team.
I'm going true.
True.
Yeah.
Mo, how can you argue it at this point?
I'm going
The LA
true.
Galaxy, they haven't won a game since MLS Cup without him. And I know there were a lot of mitigating factors and circumstances with salary cap issues and roster composition and having to get rid of big players. But Ricky, he dictated the entire style of play that led to the LA Galaxy's success. You have an argument for Christian Benteke. If you take Christian Benteke out of that team, where is this DC United team? But in terms of results and in terms of what I've seen this year out of the Galaxy, that statement it couldn't be more true.
Yeah, the Benteke part, it's like I agree with you on that, but it's also like even with Benteke, where is his DC team? But for the Galaxy, Ricky Puig, the part that you hit on about the style changing, it's 1,000% correct. There's no like for like replacement in terms of what Ricky Puig brings to that Galaxy team. You've seen changes in the center back pairing. Part of that is because there's more necessity on them having to build out the back with their center backs. Normally it's Ricky Puig who drops deep, gets on the ball, boom, boom, boom. So there's less responsibility on the center backs that have to be playmakers or have to start the attacks. Now you're seeing a Galaxy side that doesn't have the answers to really spring forward Peck, spring forward Paintsill. Massive loss, big influence for this team.
All right, these next two, it's just yes or no. You guys can't give me a breakdown because I have added one in at the very end, and I really want. I know I have.
Okay,
I'm
so
on my own
you're
little
getting
thing here today.
Kay's getting a producer credit on this show. Great.
Yes, I am. Tim, thank you. You can just give me my Emmy when you win yours after this show goes live. The Galaxy will not make the playoffs. Did I say that one already? Oh yeah, no. This is the quick one. True or false? The Galaxy will not make the playoffs.
False.
How many points are they on?
Stop it, Mo. Come on.
Stop it, Mo. It's one word.
False.
All right, moving on. Just remember, this is recorded. I'm going to clip it. I'm going to throw it back out, and they're going to eat you like they did Sasha Kleshin last year. True or false?
We just said that they will make the playoffs.
Kay.
Oh, you did? Oh, see, I'm not.
You said LA Galaxy will not make the playoffs. False.
I don't think they will. Okay, true or false? Miami break their points records from last year.
False.
They're okay.
Yeah.
Mo, you're doing a lot of thinking on this show.
I like to think. I don't like to just speak without thinking. I'm going to go false as well.
It's because the host is wild today. I'm sorry. You're going false. Okay. This one could be my favorite because I've added this. True or false? Vancouver pull off a CCC upset versus Inter Miami in the semifinals. This one we can discuss.
Woo! Do you know what?
I'm pulling a Mo right now. I got to think about this one.
I'm gonna say true, man. I'm gonna say true. The dream continues for Vancouver. Do I think it's gonna be easy? Hell no. And I also think it's gonna provide fireworks. It's gonna be an incredible game because if that happens, then so many variables have to come into play, right? But man, the confidence that this team has right now, going down to Mexico on two different occasions. There's a different belief, a different feeling amongst this group. The timeline of some of these returns to play could potentially coincide with the return leg maybe for these teams, for Vancouver, excuse me. Man, I love the narrative of what that would be like for that club. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it maybe happens, man.
Kay, the answer to this question is false. And I say that out of love, but also because I've doubted Vancouver all year, and all they keep doing is winning and proving me wrong. So I'm actually doing you and the Vancouver Whitecaps fans a favor here by saying that they won't beat Inter Miami, because I've been wrong about them the entire season, and I could probably be wrong again now. I don't think that they have faced an attack this year quite like this Inter Miami attack, and quite like what this team can do to you. They've been elite defensively, take nothing away from Vancouver. I just don't see any way that they can get by this Inter Miami team, and I think Inter Miami goes on to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Oh, big shout. I love it.
The reality of it is I'm happy with either scenario, because I feel confident about, and hopefully I don't jinx it, I feel confident about either of these two teams, Miami or Vancouver, doing well in the final. So
agreed.
100%. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
And I do love it because it's the Vancouver Whitecaps, my childhood club, but then Inter Miami, it's like our house. Everything's messy in here. Like everything's pink jerseys, all my kids wear it. So
yeah, it's your childhood club and your adopted club. You're
yeah,
it is.
And
we get it.
It means the positive. It means we will have one Major League Soccer team in the final, which is incredible. So let's take a look at the schedule heading into match day 9. There's some incredible fixtures here. Austin taking on LA Galaxy. That one. Hopefully, Galaxy find a huge win on the road there. Seattle taking on Nashville. Montreal taking on Orlando City. Charlotte taking on the new expansion club of San Diego. And then in our later games, St. Louis taking on Vancouver Whitecaps. Portland welcoming LAFC. And the San Jose Earthquakes welcoming Joveljic and Sporting Kansas City. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this earlier this week. Diego Luna met Diego Luna, the actor. So I wanted to have a little bit more fun with you. Who in Major League Soccer? I mean, this scene's Diego Luna's living his best life right now. He's looking $1 million. He's playing like $1 million. This is such a cool moment for the young man that is looking for a spot with Mauricio Pochettino in the 2026 World Cup with the U.S. men's national team. So one player in Major League Soccer that you think would make the best actor currently?
This is an easy answer for me, and it's Amin Bassi from the Houston Dynamo. You just put him in the next James Bond movie. He looks like a perfect Bond villain. He's got it all going on. He's got the facial hair. He's got the haircut. He can pull it off, no questions asked. And special shout out to a guy who's teamless right now, but Kai Kamara. This guy, he's built for Hollywood. He's built for Hollywood. He was in LA recently. Let's get Kai in a movie.
Okay.
Kai's a much better shout than Amin, but I have two as well. Fafa Pico, because the guy can sing, he can dance, he can speak multiple languages. He's oozing with talent. I can see him acting as well.
This is movies. This is not Broadway.
It's movies. Listen. It wasn't specified. It just said act. It wasn't specified. And then the other one is Steven Moreira. I see this guy act every single weekend. He acts as a midfielder. He acts like a number 9, scores goals.
I like what you've done there.
Come on
Mo.
now. We can do it.
All right, fine. If we're going Broadway, then give me Joseph Paintsel. This guy just dropped a fire single recently.
That is true. Okay, who would you have, just quickly, Tim, stop telling me we gotta go, just 1 second. Who would you guys have play you in a movie?
Oh, me, it's probably gotta be Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, probably. Sounds about right. Sounds about right, you know?
He was waiting for this one, by the way. Come on,
yeah, for me,
it doesn't have to be a redhead.
Some sort of mashup of like Kevin Connolly from Entourage and Ewan McGregor. I like that.
I thought you were going to say like Mini-Me or something.
That's just disrespectful, Mo.
Short jokes.
That does it for us on This is MLS. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was wild from the beginning to the end, but from myself, Kaylin Kyle, Mo Adu, and Dax McCarty, enjoy.